let us move on to the second module of interview skills, which is again a preparatory introductory module. Here, I would like to begin by talking to you about body language. Body language is very important in an interview because more than half the marks of the interview come from your body language. For instance, the way you open the door, the way you enter the room, the way you come near the chair and sit down, the posture when you sit on your chair. These are all very important. Your facial expression should be neutral. When you are nervous, as you might be while you go for the interview, you might smile. That smile shows your nervousness. So don't smile. Don't frown like that. That shows that you're nervous or that you're unhappy or you're irritated. Keep a neutral expression, a positive neutral expression, facial expression. Eye contact is very important. If you have one interviewer and you are there, then the interviewer asks you a question. Please look at the interviewer when question is being asked. Don't look here and there. Don't keep turning your head in the interview room like that. You have not gone to the interview room to see what is there in the room. You have gone to answer the questions. So look at the interviewer if there is only one. If you have 3, 5, 7, 10 interviewers, one person asks you a question, begin by looking at that person and answering, but look at the others also. Please do not keep your eyes only on the questioner. That is very important eye contact. It shows that you are aware of all the others and you are answering to all of them. Then you have gesture. When we shake our hands, when we move our hands, when we move our shoulders, all these are gestures. In India, we don't use many gestures. So gestures are culture specific. If you're appearing for an interview of a company which is not of our own culture, please be aware that they require more gestures. That you have to change. But you need not be totally wooden. You need not sit with your hands folded like that. Next is space. You have to, respect the space which is there in the interview room. If the table where you are sitting and the interviewer is sitting is a common table, please don't touch that table. That is not a good etiquette. If they have given you a separate table or they have not given you a table, the interview's table is far from you, then no problem. So keep all these points in the interview at the beginning, at the front of your mind. Because unless you remember these, and you can only remember by practicing, after each module, practice what I'm saying for at least 2-3 days. I'm telling you only in a short time, but you have to remember it for the final interviews. Dress code is important. Don't wear t-shirts. Wear formal dress. Sometimes they expect you to wear a full blazer. Wear it. Otherwise, an Indian dress or an informal, full shirt for boys, shalwar kameez for girls, these are all accepted in the Indian situation. Clean clothes, well-laundered clothes, simple clothes. Not more than that. You don't have to spend a whole lot of money on your clothes. In an interview room, please learn to listen. Many people are so eager to answer that they interrupt the interviewer. Don't make that mistake. Allow the interviewer to speak clearly the entire question. If you don't understand, say, "I beg your pardon," formal way. Or, "Sorry, madam," "Sorry, sir," depending on who is there, could you please repeat the question? Never use this ploy to think. You don't know the answer, so if they repeat the question, you will think. Always remember, the interviewer is more experienced than you are. So don't make that mistake. Now we also have another point which I mentioned earlier, I'm repeating again, always to tell the truth. Don't give an approximate answer. Either you know the answer or you don't know the answer. There is no harm in saying, I do not know. Because if you say, I do not know, don't stop there. You say, sorry, I will find out immediately and I will update my knowledge. There is no harm in not knowing. The harm is in not being eager to know. So I don't know at present, but I hope to know immediately. Now we come to greeting. When you enter the room, how will you greet the interviewer or interviewers? You can say good morning, good afternoon, good day. All these are possible. Good evening also is possible, but it's not very common because your interview might be in the morning. Good day is safe. You can say at any part of the day. Never say good night, because good night means goodbye. So you're going into the room, you're saying goodbye and you're walking out. You don't want an interview. We never say good night as a greeting. We always say good night at the closure, at the end. So be very careful of your greeting. Suppose your interviewer says, hello, please come in, and puts out his or her hand. Please shake hands with that person. Don't say good morning, good afternoon, etc. That person is expecting you to say hello and shake hands, or say, how do you do? Or you say, hi, because it's an informal greeting they have given you. They have not given you a formal greeting. You must be able to make out what is happening in the interview room. You must be able to think what is happening in the interview room. Don't go and say, extend your hand when the interviewer is saying namaste to you. If they are saying namaste, you also say namaste. Don't put out your hand. That is miscommunication. By looking at your greeting, they make up your mind whether you're really fit for the job or not. Now, there are two types of possible interviews. I was referring mainly to in-person interview. That is, your interviewer is there in the room and you are also there in the same room. It is the traditional kind of interview which we have had. But with 2020, things changed a lot. You might be in the same street, but you might be doing an online interview. So for an online interview, what we require? Whatever I have said till now is all required for the online interview. Something additional is also required. And that is, you should be familiar with the format on which the online interview is there. We have so many formats today, starting from Microsoft Teams to Google. Then we have Zoom, we have StreamYard, we have GoToMeeting, we have any number of things are there. Therefore, when we are talking about the format, unless you're familiar with this format at least one day in advance. Of course, you might have done many programs on that format, it's good. But if you have never done it, please be familiar. Which is the audio button? Which is the video button? Which is the button for making a presentation, PPT presentation? You must know how to prepare a PPT if they have asked for you. Usually, in a face-to-face interview, they might not ask this. In a face-to-face interview, they might only depend on your oral skill. But otherwise, in an online interview, because face-to-face is not much, they are only able to see a small part of you, they are not able to judge much of your body language, they might expect you to show a PowerPoint. Never read from a PowerPoint slide. It is for the others. Preparing a PowerPoint needs a whole unit, which maybe someday we will do, not now. This is the end of the second module.